What's up, guys? Bill here. Welcome back to another watch list walkthrough. Only took 2 trades today. 2 winners. Had a great start to the week. Let's start with NVDA. This is a play that I posted on Twitter last night. And one of my favorite setups here, inside day. And obviously NVIDIA has been a leader the last week or so. We see this really great breakout on volume. And then Friday it puts in this nice, small, compressed doji candle, inside candle on decreasing volume. And that's what we want to see, guys. Even better, the inside day low had GEX support. The only thing that was a little concerning was the extension from the 9. So coming into this day, I would have preferred a little bit of a pullback to enter calls here around the bottom of the previous day's low. But as you can see, we gapped up in pre-market. And that gap took us up over our previous day's high, which was our call trigger, and we opened just above it. When this happens, what I like to do is play the retest and go, right? So it's like a gap and go, but I look for the retest of the inside day high. You get it right away, a little pull below, but just a rip right away on this first 15-minute candle. A $5 move, or sorry, a $8 move, almost $9 move in the first 15 minutes. And to be completely honest, I didn't get in here. I couldn't get in. I couldn't get filled. I was very frustrated. And you know what? It's okay to be frustrated in times like this. You know, it's okay to feel emotions. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to be super happy when a trade works out. But what's not okay is to let those emotions dictate how you're going to trade and make you do stupid things like chase, average down, oversize on your next trade as a revenge, these types of things. So once this happened and I missed this fill and I was just watching it rip, right? And you're frustrated, annoyed, right? I started going through my mental checklist here of, okay, if I'm still interested in playing NVIDIA today, what are my next options? My ideal scenario didn't happen. I couldn't get it filled here on this retest. So what can I look for? So the first thing I looked at, let's go down to the 5-minute. The first thing I looked at was fibs, right? Maybe I can get in on a 618. So once we kind of topped out a little bit and started pulling back, I drew the fib and I noticed that the 618 had great confluence with this other positive GEX level. So that was my next ideal entry, okay? On a pullback to the 618 with this GEX confluence. But we couldn't even get that. NVIDIA was so strong, it just kept flagging really tight on decreased volume. And we got our opening range to set up. So 15 minutes went by and we got our opening range set up. I don't know why it's snapping to that level. There, snap there. Good. Okay, those nodes. Anyway, we got our opening range set up, right? 15-minute opening range. And so I had a couple options here. I was looking at either a pullback into the 9 EMA, which we kind of got here, but we never really touched it. And look at when we finally just sort of touched it, we ramped, right through. I did not take this here, but we got our opening range breakout confirmation. Here's our 10-minute confirmation close and the perfect retest. Here's where I got in, okay? And even, missing all of this move and that nice stick there, I'm able to get in here and catch another $11, right? Very smooth after this entry. NVIDIA, obviously, it keeps making new all-time highs. It's in price exploration. So when I'm trading it, I'm just kind of marking every $5, like the psych levels, like 560, right? Let's see. 560, 565, roughly. Then you're looking at 560, maybe tomorrow, okay? And that's where I'm taking scales. So, and on the retest, here's my first scale, okay? And super strong stock, right? What are we doing? We're watching the EMAs. First real test, right? We didn't quite touch it down here, and we got a great response. Here's your real first test on a low volume pull. Boom, hammer candle. new highs, scaling again, 565, okay? At this point, I'm out the majority of the trade. I'll take that $8. I'm setting a break-even stop. I'm watching the respect of the EMAs and, you know, just trimming when I'm happy, right? On a pop over high a day, I took another scale out. 560 was my next, you know, real target, or 570, excuse me, was my next real target. We didn't get there. So you just trim, you know, and I had just runners at that point. And depending on how you want to manage that, when you're down to like 10% of your position, 5% of your position, there's a couple options. I'll either just set a break-even stop, and if they hit, they hit. If not, you can swing some overnight. Or you can just cut the rest of the runners when you start to lose these EMAs, right? So we get a close under the 9 here. You could maybe say, okay, let me cut them here. Or you could use the 20 as the backdrop, because a lot of times we see on these strong moves that you'll come down to the 20 and get a bounce. Today it didn't happen. Once we sort of lost the 9 and the 20, we just chopped right around them all the rest of the day. So you just kind of, you know, pick something, and you're nice and green even down here on these. But letting those runners work like that, you know, these times that you'll have to sell them and get stopped out or whatever on your runners, they keep you in for those days when, you know, if NVIDIA had just grinded up the EMAs all day and went up to like 580 today, right? You know, and your cons are up 500%. Playing it like this with your last little bit of your position is what allows you to stay in those trades long. So that's how I work those, guys. Hopefully that helps. But just a great trade, nice trade, 10% day, you know, thanks to that. And, you know, if I had a little bit better luck and caught the entry I wanted off the open, probably would have made my month on just that one trade. And that's what it's all about. You don't need to take a bunch of trades every day. You don't need to be over leveraged in things. One trade can make your month, okay? Let's talk about SPY, the only other trade I made today. Just a scalp here, but a good thing to look at and talk about, using fibs with FVG confluence and targets. So what I did today on SPY was I had a fib drawn, and this candle here, this big sell-off, this was news related. When Fed Waller at 8 o'clock, he had pre-prepared remarks, and they were released right at the top of the hour, and they were a little bit hawkish. And so we just sold off $2 real quick, you know, within 5 minutes. And I played the 618 bounce. And the biggest reason for that was once I started seeing the sell-off, I'm looking at the 618, but I'm also thinking this is going to create an FVG, okay? And that FVG is going to fill right there, that previous red candle. So this just gives me extra confidence that this scalp, we can get back up and fill this FVG. You've got, you know, the draw on liquidity up here. You've got a really great risk to reward entry on your 618 intraday. We know how reliable those are. Those two things combined, that's a very high quality scalp. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the price to pull enough to touch the 618, and I'm in here. You get a great pop right away, almost filling the FVG, coming, you know, about 30 cents away, and a little bit of a volatility here in this candle, and then there you go. You get the fill and a little bit more, making new highs on the day. And that's just an easy $2 move on SPY after the quick flush off, news flush off. I mean, news flush, a lot of the time those things get bought back up, or, you know, if it was a news pop, it probably would have got sold off after 5-10 minutes. That's just how the market's been. These quick dumps and pops, they usually even themselves out. And then when they're creating those FVGs, it's a great target to have to, you know, buy the fear in this case, and just run it back up and fill that FVG. But that's really all I did today, guys. If you have any questions about anything that I discussed in this video, just leave a comment or find me on Twitter and I'll help you out.